All right, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Good evening and welcome to the July 10th, 2025 meeting of the Minnetonka Planning Commission. The Commission generally meets twice a month, always on the Thursday. The schedule and tentative meeting agendas can be obtained by calling the Planning Division or by checking the city website at minnetonkamn.gov. The Commission holds public hearings on land use applications. For all land use applications, the city notifies property owners within at least 400 feet of the site and posts plans and information on minnetonkamn.gov. For some applications, the city also places signs on the properties and places notices in the Sun Sailor. From a specific process standpoint, the Commission makes recommendations to the City Council on rezonings, subdivisions, conditional use permits, and amendments to the city's comprehensive guide plan, zoning ordinance, and subdivision regulations. We also make final decisions on site plans, signage requests, variance requests, and expansion permits, unless these requests are part of an application that must be heard by the City Council. In that case, the Commission makes a recommendation and the Council makes a final decision. Anyone aggrieved by a Planning Commission decision may appeal the decision to the City Council. If you wish to appeal, you must submit a written request to the city staff within 10 days of this meeting. From a broader standpoint, the city's comprehensive guide plan, zoning ordinance, and subdivision regulations are the city's best efforts to codify a balance between individual rights and community responsibilities. Individual rights are easy to understand. Community responsibilities are more subtle, but the idea is that we, as members of the community, agree to limit our individual rights for the common good of the group. The Planning Division, the Planning Commission, and the City Council are charged with managing this sometimes difficult balancing act. We ask that you keep this broader perspective in mind as we review tonight's applications. Again, welcome. Staff, please call roll.
Banks is absent. Brink.
Here.
Hanson is absent. Henry.
Here.
Minion.
Here.
Maxwell is absent. And Chair Waterman.
Here, there are 4 of us tonight. Next up, item number 3, approval of the agenda. Staff, I believe there's a change memo.
Chair Waterman, there is a change memo. It relates to 7A. A question was raised by a commissioner. Commissioner Henry specifically, and I relayed this information to him via phone call, but I thought it was important that all of the commissioners saw that same information. So nothing changing in the recommendation or conditions of approval. It's just kind of an FYI.
Great, thank you. Okay, recognizing that change memo, may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Motion Henry.
Second.
Second Minion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Item number 4, approval of minutes. These would be the minutes from the June 26th, 2025 meeting. Commissioners, any changes? No? Okay, seeing no changes, may I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make the motion.
Motion Brink.
A second.
Second Minion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
All right, motion carries. Next up, number 5, report from staff.
Chair and commissioners, the City Council actually hasn't met since your last meeting, so nothing to report from the Council. A reminder that if you have not RSVP'd for the Commission tour on July 31st, if you could do so either with me at the end of the meeting or contacting Karen Talega of the Community Development staff. As I indicated before, we have a tour scheduled for essentially the northwest area of town this year. For those of you that haven't been on the tour, Commissioner Brink, I don't know, Commissioner Minion, if you've been on the tour. Oh yes, last year. Just going out with various commissions, looking at different things that the city has done over typically the last year. But we're going to look this year at a solar business that has its headquarters in Minnetonka. We're going to look at some older, naturally occurring, affordable rental units. We look at a lot of new units. We're going to look this year at some existing units, and then go visit a solar array that was recently installed by the city on city property. So we're trying to come up with a catchy name for our tour this year. As of yet, we don't have one, but please RSVP. And then your next meeting is scheduled for July the 24th. That's all I have.
Great, thank you. Next up, item number 6, report from planning commissioners. Commissioners, anything to report? No. Okay. Moving on to item number 7 on the consent agenda. For the consent agenda, city staff places items that are considered routine on the consent agenda. No staff or applicant presentations will be made. The commission will hold one public hearing and approve all items on the consent agenda with one motion, subject to the staff recommended conditions of approval. Before voting on the consent agenda, I will open the public hearing, announce each item, and ask if anyone wishes to have a separate discussion or vote on that item. If so, the commission will then remove the item from the consent agenda and hold a separate hearing on it after voting on the remaining consent agenda items. I may allow informational questions without removing an item from the consent agenda. I will open the public hearing on the consent agenda. The first and only item that we have is item 7A, an interim use permit for a portable classroom at Glen Lake Elementary School, 4801 Wood Ridge Road, with the recommendation that the City Council adopt the resolution approving the request. Does any commissioner wish to remove this item? Okay. Any member of the audience wish to remove this and have a separate hearing? Okay. No one wishes to speak. I will go ahead and close the public hearing. Commissioners, may I have a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Motion Henry,
I'll second.
second Brink. Staff, please poll the commission.
Brink,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Minion,
Yes.
Chair Waterman.
Yes. All right. Motion carries. That is item 7A, a recommendation to the City Council, which they will consider on July 14th. Okay. Moving on to item 8, non-consent agenda. Before we begin consideration of non-consent items, I'd like to review the steps of the process and the public hearing procedure that will be followed for each proposal. First, the item will be announced and the staff will report on the subject. The commission will then ask questions, and next the applicant will be invited to make a presentation or offer comments. Commissioners may ask additional questions at this time. After the applicant is finished, the public hearing will be open to give anyone present the opportunity to comment on the proposal. If you wish to speak, please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record. We ask that you keep your comments brief and try not to repeat any points already made. And once everyone has spoken, we may allow speakers to return for additional comments. Neighborhood spokespeople, I don't see many, if any, are encouraged and will be given up to 15 minutes to present. The first and only item on tonight's non-consent agenda is number 8A, which is a conditional use permit and site and building plan review for a concession stand with bathroom facilities for Veterans Field at the Minnetonka High School campus. That's 18301 Highway 7, and this is a recommendation that the City Council adopt the resolution approving the requests. Mr. Ingvelson, I believe this is your item.
It is. Thank you, Chair and Commission. So our next item, and you can see we have a theme, at least for tonight. It's school districts, since we have 2 school district requests here. So this one is at the Minnetonka High School campus. If you're looking here, you probably all know where it is, but Highway 7 to the north, here's Delton Avenue, and then just over to the east is the Highway 101 and 7 intersection. The property is very large, it's 97 acres, surrounded by residential properties, some apartment buildings, townhomes, single-family homes also, so definitely residential around the property. But what we're looking at tonight is specifically the baseball field and this location on your map, just to give you a little bit of an orientation. So here's how the site looks today. There is a seating area on the back of the baseball area. Here is the home plate. And then if you look over here, there is a few other existing things on the property. There's already a concession stand with a press box above it. And there's also, in this blue area, is representing the existing retaining walls. So there are 2 retaining walls located here on the property that exist. And those are sort of the areas that we're looking here tonight for some changes and modifications. Here's a look at that concession stand. It's made of brick on this side, and then going to the other side, there is some blue accents on it. The existing concession stand and press box is 400 square feet. And here is a look at those retaining walls that I mentioned earlier. They are a 2-tiered retaining wall, so here is one and then another. If you added their 2 heights together, basically from the grade down here to the top, it ranges from 14 feet to 22 feet. So a pretty large retaining wall. And part of the reason that we're here tonight too is that the school district mentioned that they're looking at doing repairs for that existing retaining wall. You can barely see it, but part of it's already roped off as an area for people not to be walking. And what the proposed changes that the applicant is looking at doing here, just to give you again some reminders, here's that existing concession stand. They're looking to add a new concession stand that's shown in blue. They're also looking to fill in this retaining wall area, so it just would be one retaining wall. So instead of having two tiered here, this area would be filled in, so it'd be the same grade as that upper area, and it would just be then one tall retaining wall. They're also proposing to remove some of the grass area here and extend into this area of the walkway, that upper level walkway area, and then bumping out the sidewalk to a little bit farther into the parking lot. Here to look at it zoomed in and a little bit clearer. Again, just one retaining wall, adding that concession stand. The applicant has proposed to keep the existing concession stand, using the lower level for storage and then continuing to use that upper level for a press box. Here is a look at that, except a bit zoomed out. So you can see again, sort of that same area. Also showing on here is the landscaping. One of the conditions that the city requires is that in city code is that there's a landscaping improvements done with any project. And what the applicant's proposing to do is to do some plantings. That include 35 trees, 39 shrubs, and 9 perennials. So adding a bit more vegetation on the property as part of this project would be required. And here's some looks just to show you what that looks like from a street view. Again, I talked about bumping out this sidewalk a little bit into this drive aisle area. This will require a bit of a modification to the site. Some of these stalls will be removed to make sure there's adequate access, something that was reviewed by the fire marshal. And that's what the applicant has chosen to take that path, is removing a couple of stalls. And then also here's a look at where that concession stand would be located approximately. Here's another view showing how this area would actually expand over, so that walkway would be a bit larger. And then there's a look at where roughly the concession stand would be located. The new concession stand would be 17 feet tall. It would be made of similar materials as the original one they have there, so it's really going to complement it well. They're using brick that's going to look similar to the other one. There's blue accents, again similar. And then even having a bit of the same architectural style, having that same sort of slanted roof, will keep it really in consistent character with what's currently out there for that other building. Here's a look at the inside of the building. So it is split in half. One half of the side will be concession stands. Here's the area where people would come up to make their orders. It's glass. And then over here in the other half would be bathrooms. So for people who are there, currently portable bathrooms are used at the site. So this would be closer to the concession, closer to the seating area, and also be a permanent facility for folks as they
people in there side by side, but you can't really stack people one after the other. So it's very small, but it's worked. But we have not had permanent restrooms. The restrooms that are the kind of like a full use permanent restrooms are actually the restrooms that are underneath the visitors bleachers. There's a sign saying restrooms that way, but it's quite a distance. And we also then service it every year with portables, and portables are functional, but they're not popular. And so the biggest question we had is, how come you don't have restrooms? And so with putting this particular concourse in place, it creates enough space to actually maybe then put a restroom facility and a little bit of bigger concession facility on it, and still allow for good viewing area for people who want to be standing spectators versus sitting spectators. I know as a parent I usually did the standing thing. I was too nervous watching my kids play. But the Diamond Club actually, who paid 90% of the original project over 15 years, they've actually fundraised, and they actually have agreed to donate the cost of the concession stand. So the district is actually, district resources are paying for the actual concourse, but then the Diamond Club has actually donated the dollars to basically do this. So it's a nice community partnership. In terms of uses, we're actually making this concession stand being, and the restroom being heated and cooled. So it's a little more comfortable for the people who are actually working with the sun beating through the windows from the west. But also in the wintertime, we've discussed the fact that, yes, this can be used for the Tour de Tonka. It can be used for, we'd have to do some good security on it, but it could be used during football games where we have some large crowds. But also, we've even talked about the idea of, like, when we do Hockey Day in Minnesota, we might be able to put some rinks out on the baseball field, and this could actually serve as restrooms and a warming house type of thing in a concession area for some types of events like that. So there's a lot of potential community uses besides the baseball field. The baseball field is heavily used from basically right at the end of March, as soon as we clear it, because it actually melts faster than most of the snow melts off faster, so they can use it a lot sooner than you can a typical grass field. And so from late, it's sometimes mid-March, but late March into primarily the end of July, and then after July and August, the football team has 2 football practice fields on it. But this will make it even more of a year-round facility and multiple use. So that's kind of the goal behind this. And so we're hoping you consider it and appreciate your consideration for it. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Commissioners, any question for the applicant? Commissioner Brink.
Not a question, but just thank you for discussing the wall and the geotechnical issues and so forth. I originally had some questions about that, but you described it and addressed it real well, so I don't really have any other questions.
Sure, me too.
Commissioner Henry.
Thanks all for the presentation. I'd like to delve just a little bit more into the structural integrity of the large blocks too. You said city staff said the wall is going to be between 14 and 22 feet tall. Is that right? I think that's what you said, Drew?
Yeah, that's what existing is at, and the final will be similar.
Okay. Yep. So in your estimation, Paul, a 22-foot tall wall will have no problems with subsidence, compression, anything else with one wall versus 2 with these larger blocks?
Our engineers have signed off on it. You'll see, maybe if I just mention it, as you'll drive around, you'll see these larger, taller walls with the big block, just one straight up. So yeah, it's designed by engineers. Their names are on the plans, and at the 2,200 or the 22 foot high section, the compression at the bottom level is 3,300 pounds per square inch. But they've engineered base underneath it to support it, and you see a lot of these structures built with this large block that is actually just a much more sturdy construction. And like I said, they actually use this kind of like steel mesh netting that actually for each layer gets dug back into the side of the hill and then soil compacted on top of that, and every layer has that, and it goes back approximately 20 feet. So with the small block, you'd go back like 6 feet, maybe 7 feet. So the thing is it's a much more robust type of construction, and the engineers say it's okay. I'm not an engineer, and I did not play one on TV, but we have a solid engineering company, Inspec Engineers, and they signed off on this.
I'm assuming it's a different engineering firm than what built the wall originally, since that had subsidence issues.
Actually, it's not. It's the same one.
Uh-oh. I'll be demanding a discount for the work that you have to redo on it.
Well, there was a lot of erosion coming from the top. Not so much. There's some settling, but there's been water issues on the site. This is a much more deeper foundation.
Okay. Another question I have is in the drawings for the bathrooms, it shows 2 stalls only for the men's and the women's rooms. Is that to scale, and is that all that you're planning on putting in those restrooms?
Yes, that meets the code for 600 people in the stands.
Okay. And then in your estimation as a baseball fan and a parent, you think that's going to be enough for accommodating overflow for football and when the baseball team is doing especially well and we have a lot of fans in the stands?
If that's the case, we can always augment it with portables. We still have the restrooms down the hill, but this is for the standard crowds. This meets code. It should be plenty. They've serviced it primarily with just a couple of restrooms in the past, and we have some pretty big events there. We have regional Legion tournaments. We have college teams coming to play, particularly in the early spring before their fields are ready, so. The estimation of people we consult with and various code requirements is that's what will work. We have our restrooms below the visitor bleachers, which is a 1,500 visitor bleacher for the football field, has the exact same number. And so these won't have as big a crowds. There's usually, there's usually several hundred people watching, but there's very rarely 600. On occasion there is, but again, even that is not the same size as the 1,500 that we have on the visitor bleachers for large football games. And this is almost the identical layout that we have in that restroom below. So we think that it'll service better. And again, it'll provide relief for football games, so additional places for people to relieve themselves.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that it's being used for more than just baseball, because there's a lot of activities going on around that campus.
Yeah, we have to build multi-use, absolutely.
Speaking of that, I know that last week, the Town Ball Tour, there was some Town Ball happening in Anoka High School. They had a field over there. I'm just curious, I don't even know this, but does Minnetonka have a Town Ball team that has the home field there too? That's adult baseball players?
We have the Minnetonka, they were the Millers and they just changed their name, and I'm so sorry that I don't know what the name was changed to, but we do have a Town Ball team.
Nice, okay, good. And I see that the old concession stand had a big Cambria sign up there. Was that a sponsorship program that you worked with Cambria on? And second follow-up with that is, are you going to have a plan for sponsorship for this new building as well?
The school district has an agreement with the Diamond Club to operate the ball field for all times when we don't use it for our varsity and junior varsity, all the high school teams. And so they actually schedule it. And they are able to fundraise for it, so they get revenue from field rentals and from advertising, and so they can sell advertising. It has to be advertising within the ball field, so we don't do anything hanging on towards the parking lot. But inside the ball field, we let them do that, and that's our agreement. And that's one of the ways that they raise funds. So that type of advertising program is why they have resources available to do this, because this particular facility is about $1 million building, and so they're basically paying for it.
Thank you.
They've accumulated the dollars over the years.
Great, thanks.
Very generous of them.
Commissioner Minion.
Mr. Henry's asked a number of my questions already. Good job, sir. On the same line of the footings, it sounds like the erosion has been a big problem in the past. can you tell us how the grade is going to change or how that will impact so we won't repeat another erosion problem of coming out? I mean, I get the geogrid going back 20 feet is great, but if the foundation's the same, can you talk a little bit about how the water's going to shut off?
One of the things that is the main reason for actually a lot of the work on the top end is actually we're adding additional catch basins to make sure that water, and we're also changing the curbing from a surmountable curb to just kind of a more of a standard curb, because you know how like in the rapids, water can, if it's running fast, it can get up over the rocks, right? Well, we don't have any specific filming of that because not too many of us are standing out there in the rain watching it, but we were getting erosion over the top, and so the surmountable or the standard curb, B6 curb, is more of a dam type of thing, but we're also putting in more catch basins to catch more water.
Excellent, thank you. Something that's always dear to my heart whenever we talk about schools and changes is just pedestrian. And when I say pedestrian, it's basically young kids. This is a high school, but can you talk a little bit about how this will impact, I think the term was used, enhanced vehicle and pedestrian safety? Would you talk a little bit about, kind of share the vision on the enhancements and how that'll improve with the changes?
Well, we're bumping out the sidewalk in a manner where we're kind of creating a little drop-off zone closer to the main entrance to the field, so that people will be able to more pull to the side and take a little more time. And then the idea was that a narrower lane would basically also slow traffic down. But we're going to have to widen that for fire truck turning radius. So, but still, the whole thing about kind of creating this little bump out zone where people can more or less pull over is going to help to create a little bit more of a safer environment.
Okay. We talk a little bit about the ADA ramp and how that will change. Will that be impacted at all? We saw in the earlier photos of what you have now, but will that be changed and impacted in this at all?
No, it's full. We're fully ADA compliant, and there's no changes to that.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear about the catch basins, and sounds like some great plans. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. My other question, actually, sort of ancillary to this, is there any plan to change or improve the pedestrian flow for the lower parking lot? Like once you go down the stairs in that lower parking lot there, and yeah, maybe we'll be able to see it in one of these views. Pedestrians, kids, to Commissioner Minion's point, sort of have to navigate. It's a little bit tricky down, down in that lower part, like kind of cut behind cars, cut through. I think there's like a bit of a maintenance storage shed. Don't need a long answer, just kind of.
Yeah, we're not changing the
Yep.
traffic pattern down below. That thing is that is striped for additional parking for this during the school day. So when we have larger events, we try to station people at the lower level, and we also, for football games and those types of things, we block it off. But that's not in, I guess, for lack of a better term, it's not in the scope of this project.
Understood. It could be something worth considering for the future. Okay, I think we're all done. Might have you back to the extent there are any questions after the public hearing, but I doubt it. Okay, next up, we'll now open the public hearing. If you'd like to speak, please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record. Any questions should be directed to me as the acting chair, not to staff. We will accumulate and ask certain questions to the staff later in the meeting. So is there anyone who'd like to speak? Okay. Seeing no one, I will go ahead and close the public hearing. No questions. So next I will bring it back to the commission for any questions or comments that we have. Commissioners, what do we think? Who'd like to go first? All right, Commissioner Henry.
Thanks, Chair, and thanks for the presentation. I live really close to this, and I can hear the roar of the crowd from my house, which is fun. So I'm happy to hear that you're improving the facilities for not just baseball, but for all these things, and you've got my full support. Thanks for answering all of our questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Brink.
Yeah, just a quick comment. Thank you for your plans here and your presentation, and looks like a wonderful addition to the facilities out there. And yeah, looking forward to it moving forward.
Thank you. Commissioner Minion?
Thank you to the city for a great job putting it together, and thank you for guys your application, answering all the questions. I do appreciate the fact that it's going to enhance the traffic flow. It's going to enhance the experience for your fans, and I think it's a good add to the school and to the city. So thank you for all your good work.
Great, thank you. Okay, well, it sounds like we're ready for a motion. I'm in support of this as well. May I have a motion regarding, this is item number 8A, recommendation that the City Council adopt the resolution approving the request for a conditional use permit and site and building plan review for a concession stand with bathroom facilities for Veterans Field at the Minnetonka High School campus, 18301 Highway 7.
I'll make the
Would anyone
motion.
like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion, Minion.
Second.
Second, Brink. Staff, please poll the commission.
Brink,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Minion,
Yes.
Chair Waterman.
Yes. All right. Motion passes. This is a recommendation to the City Council, and the council will consider the item at their July 28th meeting. So, thank you for coming. All right. Item 9, other business. I don't believe we have other business, and so then we are on to item number 10, adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Make the motion to adjourn.
Motion, Henry.
Second.
Second, Brink. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Good night.